All right, we're going to try this take two because my mic wasn't plugged in. I forgot to plug in the microphone. So hopefully the audio is good. We shall see if we are live. And yes, it looks like we are live, and my hair looks absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what's going on there, but welcome everybody to the 20,000 subscriber, I was about to say $20,000. Yeah, $20,000 live stream. We're giving out money, like cash money. No, just kidding. But yes, we reached 20,000 followers here on YouTube, and that's amazing. That's like a milestone achievement. I feel like you know, you're a fifth of the way there to 100,000, and I think it just builds momentum from here. So I did want to kind of take the moment to address that and, you know, thank everybody that has subscribed. That's definitely not an easy task, and I appreciate every one of you. And more importantly, I appreciate those of you that watch the videos, like, share, all that good stuff, comment on them. That extremely, you know, provides the amount of help that you don't know to the channel. So I want to thank all of you that show your support, and also ordering from us on our website and all that stuff. It just continues to allow this channel to grow and do new things. So that's pretty much all that I have. I will say, though, at the beginning of the live stream here, this weekend we're going to be having a sale. I haven't exactly decided what it's going to be, but if you don't follow us on Instagram or Facebook, I suggest checking those out, so that way you can get the update. You could also sign up for a newsletter on the website. That'll be going out with the code and stuff, also highlighting a couple new plants that we got in last week that not many people have seen. So, you know, just newsletter, Instagram or Facebook. I'll try and also post it maybe here on the YouTube channel as well. It's just a little difficult because sometimes YouTube is wonky like that. But yeah, so what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? I lost the chat. Where's the chat room? There we go. Thank you for the congrats. Thanks, Chance, sorry. Low Life, thank you. Juke. And Handpan, thank you. Where did my... Okay, I lost the chat. I got it back, and then I lost the stream. And then I lost the chat again. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Okay. It would be really helpful if I had two monitors, but I don't. So this is what we have to deal with. So pretty much just, you know, I'm here going to answer any questions you guys may have about planted tanks or anything like that. Let's Instagram this out so that way people know that we're live. What's up, HC Aqua? We are live on YouTube. Swipe up. So, yeah, I don't particularly have any topics, but let's see. Chance comes up with our first question: sumps versus canister filter for planted tanks. Well, that's a good question. Let me just tweet this out real quick, or upload this to youtube.com/h2oplants. There we go. Okay. So sumps versus canister filters for planted tanks. That's a really good question. Let's just talk about filters in general for planted tanks, I guess. So you have many different types of filters. You have under gravel filters, which I've never used before, but tend to be pretty good. You have sponge filters, which are just air bubbles that suck water through like a tube and sucks the water through a sponge. Then that's on the outside of that tube, which filters the water and provides extra oxygen. Pretty good filter. Then you have hang-on-backs, which are nice filters, but aren't ideal for planted tanks. And then you have canisters, and then you have sumps. Sumps is kind of like the last, or is the highest tier of filters, and canisters are right under that. The main reason why is canisters are kind of like sumps. Sumps and canisters are very similar in what they do. They're an external source that allows the water to filter through. Canisters I like because they're a bit more compact. You don't need, you know, for most sumps you need a very big footprint underneath the tank because you have all these different compartments. Typically you build them out of extra tanks that you have, or you buy another tank to do that. So like on a 55-gallon tank you may have like a 20 or 30-gallon sump underneath. But when it comes to planted tanks, so I like canisters myself. That's what I prefer. I haven't used a sump. However, our holding tanks, 8 of them are on a sump-like system. So for a lot of the holding tanks, what they are, and we've showed videos on this, but I haven't really gone into too much depth on them. But basically, the top tank has an overflow, flows down into the bottom tank. There's a pond pump actually in the bottom tank that pumps it back up. Both tanks are used for grow outs and holding tanks. And I don't have any media anywhere other than in the overflow. I actually put some lava rock, and that's the biological media. Biological media. On the stack that comes down from the overflow, you then have a filter sock that filters out fine particles. It just helps to keep the water maybe a little bit cleaner, which we have to clean like once a week practically because they get gucked up quite easily. And then that flows into the bottom tank, and that's it. And then there's this emergency overflow just in case the first one backs up, which is, you need that emergency overflow. I can't tell you how many times the first overflow has gotten clogged from just, like the lava rock that I have in the overflow. Sometimes it gets moved and it gets lodged in there. Other times it's been like plant material, and other times it's been the filter sock that gets backed up, which backs it all the way up. And that emergency pipe is highly needed. You can't have a sump without it. So, for the main question though here, what's better? I'm guessing is what he's trying to ask. Sumps or canisters? I prefer canisters. They just make life a whole lot easier. They take up less space. Typically with plants, you don't need a ton of filtration. I mean, you could go less filtration when you have a heavily planted tank just because the plants are doing the job of the filter. Ideally, you should have a plant balance and livestock balance to each other that essentially the plants will eliminate the waste and the filter is almost rendered useless. With that said, you still need circulation, and it's good to provide that extra level of filtration, taking out particles in the water and whatnot if you have sponges and whatnot in there. That's not to say that sumps are bad. Sumps are just probably more work in general. But here's the nice thing about a sump. If you have a sump, you can have that as a secondary grow out. So like, say you have a nice big tank, let's say a 40-gallon tank, and you have like a 20-gallon sump underneath. Well, you could have your amazing aquascape up top, have everything flowing down to the bottom, and then as those plants grow up top and you get trimmings, you could plant them in the sump below and maybe put a light there and allow that to grow out, and then you can have like a trimming tank that you could like sell to your friends or sell to people online, make a couple bucks off your tank. And I apologize for the banging, that's the baby. And yeah, you made noisy? Yeah, she's gonna be one actually on Friday. But yeah, so the sump has that extra benefit of allowing you to essentially grow out more plants, which is very nice. What you doing, baby? Baby girl.
You're the person for daddy? Daddy doesn't want it right now.
Hi, mommy. You want to come be on the stream? Say say I'm gonna be one, everybody. Yeah, you got that? Want to pass her to me? She could say hi. Let's see. What's up, Madfish Diva? Thank you. What's up, Jake? What do you do to revamp nutrients in your substrate after plants have depleted them over time? That's another good question. Hi, Mama. Oh. Oh. Okay. Alright. There we go. Okay. And here, you can play with that. There you go. Okay. So as far as revamping nutrients in the substrate after the plants have depleted them, that's really easy. One, dose liquid fertilizer, because here's the thing. If you have a really good substrate, it almost acts as a magnet. It pulls nutrients into it. And then secondly, you could also use root tabs to provide extra material down there for it. You had to choose the noisiest toy that you have, right? For this? That's okay, though. And so yeah, so those are the two. Because as you dose nutrients, if you have like a good substrate like ADA Aqua Soil, or you have Contra Soil like we sell, Eco Complete, Sechem Fluorite, as you have those, it allows the nutrients to be absorbed. Yeah. You see yourself? So yeah, so that's that. Chance says happy birthday to Nova. Thank you, Chance. Can you say hi? Say hi. 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 No hi? Okay. Do you sell corkscrew valve? And how does it differ in size to contortion valve? Well, thank you. Just Doing Florida is the name for the questions. So we sell contortion valve, which is very similar to corkscrew valve. I think they're exactly the same, except corkscrew valve typically comes to us at about 6 inches tall. Contortion valve is usually a little bit taller. They're the same plant though. There's no difference. It's just the size that we get them in. And we found that contortion valve does much better because it's bigger. JH Aquatic says, congrats, man. Hard work pays off. Thank you. Yeah, it takes time to build up a channel, and this is actually my second time getting a YouTube channel to over 20,000 subscribers. I once had a gaming channel, which reached, I think, 29,000 was when I stopped doing it. No, not the computer. You have your toy. You want your pacifier? There you go. Yeah. There you go. And so yeah. Catfishing says, congrats on the 20,000. Thank you. And Mattfish Diva with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Congrats on 20K to my plant pusher. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat so much. Thank you again. Chance says, I'm trying to decide on water column feeders versus substrate feeders, which is why I was asking about long-term substrate nutrient depletion. Well, here's the thing. Every plant's going to absorb nutrients the best way possible. So whether it's water column... No. She wants to touch the microphone. Whether it's... No. Why do you have to touch it? You have your toy. Look, toy. Yeah, there you go. Whether it's a plant that is a heavy root feeder versus maybe a water column feeder, most of them are going to absorb the nutrients whichever way they best can. So, I mean, with the exception of like dwarf water lettuce that floats at the top, that obviously doesn't root into the substrate, so it'll absorb all of its nutrients through the water column. And then you have plants that really just, absorb a lot of nutrients at their substrate. It's just good to really dose liquid fertilizer and have root tabs or good substrate. Hi. Can you say hi? Hi. Say hi. Yeah, there you go. No grabby. How do you feel about Flourish Excel in a low-tech setup? Well, Flourish Excel should only be used as a... Oh, I'm realizing one of my plants are dying here. Flourish Excel should be used only as a kind of like an algicide, basically, because that's what it's really good at. A CO2 substitute, it really doesn't work well at. Yeah. And it does do a pretty good job at killing some algae, which I'm working on a video for because we have a couple tanks that I've very much neglected. And so I'm testing out Excel and also, what's the other one? Algae Fix. Oh, I'm sad this plant's dying. I gotta water it. I haven't watered it in like a week, so. What? Yeah. Okay. No, don't eat that. That's metal. That's bad. No. Okay. Yeah, okay. But yeah, only use Flourish Excel if you have a major algae problem, and it's not a kind of course correction like fixer. You still need to figure out why you got algae, but it will help eliminate what is currently in the tank. It just won't prevent it long term. Like, you could dose it every day, and yeah, it'll probably keep it at bay. Eventually, the algae will probably outcompete the Excel, or your tank will like magically fix itself, because sometimes that just happens. But yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. Yeah. Little Mama Llama, congrats on 20K. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Alexandra says, congrats. Thank you for the amazing content and help. You're welcome. Or Alexandria, right? Yeah, Alexandria. Appreciate the comments. I'm glad I can help. Lately, a lot of our videos have been doing really well, so I'm glad to see that a lot of people are learning things, and you know, it's helping a lot of people. So, Just Doing Florida says, I've had narrowleaf sedge in my low-tech 40 breeder for almost a month and a half, and I haven't seen any runners yet. Is that normal? I'm using fluval stratum. By the way, I'm dosing C-Chem iron. Yeah, no, you're probably fine. Runners take a while sometimes to get going. You have some plants that'll put them up right away, and then you have other plants that'll take a while. So, what you got? So I wouldn't worry about it. I just wouldn't move it around. I would let it do its thing, and eventually it'll kind of do it, you know, pop it up. What? Okay. Okay. You ready to get down? You ready to get down? You want this? There you go. Yeah, you can take her back if you want. She's getting fussy. Okay, alright, Mommy's taking you. Mommy's taking you. Very. Okay. Thanks.
What'd you do with the one that I have back there?
I put it over here. Yeah. Yeah, but as far as like runners go on any plant, for instance, I have an aloe plant that I actually got from my father when he passed away a couple years ago, and I've had it in a pot. I changed the pot, I think, twice now, and it did not put up any pups. And typically, aloe plants is very kind of natural for them to put up baby plants around the base plant. And just recently, now keep in mind this has been, I want to say, probably 3 years now, and it's been almost a year in the current pot, and now it's finally producing pups. So plants in general just take a while to get going sometimes. They have to establish a good root system, they have to be healthy, or they have to feel like they're under stress. So there's two types of kind of reactions that plants have. Either they're doing really well and they're like, okay, now's a good time to, you know, spread my genes and get out there, or another one is, uh-oh, I'm gonna die. I need to fix this quickly because, yeah. So, people are watching the other live stream. I need to, no, delete. Did I delete? Did I delete it? Did it delete? I don't think it deleted. No, go back. So yeah, so don't worry if plants don't put up runners or babies right away. You gotta give them time. Actions, private. You're about to update one video. Okay, yes. There we go. Do you use ADA products such as Bacter 100, Tourmaline BC, or Superclear? What do you think of them? So I will say that I've never used them. So me kind of giving my input on them is just based on my experience without using them. What happened? Oh, did I just mess up the live stream currently going on? Public? Uh-oh. Did I just mess something up? Are we live? No, I think we're good. Are we good? Are you guys still here? Somebody said, what happened? I'm like, did I break it? I don't know if I broke it. No, I'm good? Okay. I'm like messing around with the stream that failed earlier. I'm like, I don't know if I'm messing it up here. Let me refresh my video page. Sorry, I'm like, don't tell me it broke down again. We're here? Okay, so everybody's good. I just need to take down this other one because people are like, oh, there's no thing. Yeah, no, there isn't anything. There we go. Unlisted. That should work. Okay. I hear you. Okay. Everybody's still here. Good. Sorry. So as far as using like those ADA products such as Bacter 100, Tourmaline, and Superclear, and all these other powders that you put in the substrate and chemicals and whatnot, I don't think that they're I do think that there may be some benefit to them. I don't think that they're a complete waste of money. I don't think that it's like a scam or a sham or anything like that. I will say I don't see the point of them. I feel like all the tanks I've set up in the past have done really well without it, and I don't think that given me using those products would have increased the tank, I don't know, like health or whatever, any better than it did how I had it starting. So there may be a slight benefit, but I'm not sure. So I will say, if you want to try them out, but yeah. I've never used them, so I don't think that they're necessarily worth it. Best time of year to order plants. When does your supply restock typically? I'm new to planted tanks and have realized that most online sellers are sold out of the plants I'm looking for. From Wes. Well, thank you, Wes, for checking out the live stream and for your question. So best time to order plants. Well, you can order plants from us all year round. What would happen is if, say, you are, let's just say in Alaska, for instance, and it's middle of winter and it's -40 below, we just won't ship your order right away. We'll wait until there's a window of warm weather. Now, that could be a week. That could be, 2 months. I don't know based on your weather. Just for instance, this past couple of weeks, we had an issue with like the super extreme cold weather that came through. A lot of packages to Wisconsin and Michigan and those areas in the mid-northern area of the United States got delayed. I had to hold them for 2 weeks or a week in some cases. And then we reship, we'll ship at that when the window is ideal for us. So you could order from us all year round because, one, we provide heat packs and cold packs free of charge, so you don't have to worry about like above average temperatures, but like serious above average temperatures where it's like 110, we can't ship. Obviously, that's just way too hot. And below freezing in most cases is not ideal. So it really depends on the situation for us, but I don't know about other retailers or other people that you may buy from. You always want to check, one, what kind of guarantee do they have if the plants arrive, frozen or burnt, melted, damaged because UPS decided to jump on the box, who knows, or USPS decided to jump on the box. And also find out if they supply heat packs and cold packs, or if you have to purchase them from them. And as far as, sold out, depending on what you're looking for, Wes, we typically restock every Thursday. That is when it's either every Thursday or sometimes early on a Wednesday. It really depends. But it's usually every Thursday night we'll restock. And you could also sign up to get email notifications on the plants that you may be looking for as soon as they become available. With that said, I wouldn't say, like, if you're waiting for a certain plant and, like, you have 6 other plants maybe in your cart on our website, but you're like, oh, I really want that one plant, I would say go ahead and order the 6 other plants that you have in your cart, because there's a good chance that one plant that you're waiting for, if it's not available on a Thursday, it just isn't a plant that we have in anymore or maybe have access to, or it might have been a plant that I personally was growing and it died, or I got rid of it, or whatever the case is. So, when you have enough items in your cart to make it worth to buy. Don't just wait on like one particular plant. It's not worth it. We have tons of other plants that are similar to each other that, if you're looking for like one particular plant, we usually have something else that is very comparable to it. So, what is your favorite foreground, midground, background, and floating plant? Oh, well, that's a good question. Let's think about this for a second. So, foreground plant, I would have to say Marsilia, Crenata or Minuta, whatever, the dwarf four-leaf clover, very good, easy beginner foreground plant. As far as a mid-ground plant, I would go with Bucephalandrid. It's a good thing, and when I think about mid-ground, I think of tree, not trees, but driftwood and rocks in the middle, in the in the middle ground, and you got Buce on that. That looks really nice, and Nubus is another good one. As far as a background plant, I really like this new one that I got, and I can't remember the name of it. It's not available on the website yet. It's called, I think this is it. I just want to make sure. Yeah, so it's called Hatana palustris. So it's a new, well, not a new, but rare sort of stem plant to us in the U.S. Overseas, it's actually a very common plant. And in most cases, most like clubs, you could probably find this plant rather easily because a lot of hobbyists have it. It's a very easy plant to grow. But it's a really beautiful stem plant that looks like water wisteria but doesn't grow as big, so it's ideal for smaller tanks. And I have it in our 75 downstairs, and I just have a big bush of it. We're going to be doing a video on the 75, so you'll get to see it. But it's like an amazing stem plant. And once I get it going and cultivating a lot of it, then I'll be able to sell more of it. Okay. Oh, we got a ton of questions now. All right. The Free Aquarium says, congrats on 20K. Thank you. Appreciate it. Brandon, congrats. Do you ever let local people pick up plants from you instead of shipping? I think I remember you saying you are in New Jersey and I'd love to buy some plants. So, Brandon, yeah. So, the way we allow pickups is, one, I don't allow you to come inside and pick out plants just because it's my home. I need special insurance. If I let customers come inside, I don't have that. So, I don't allow people to come inside the home and kind of window shop or, pick out, I want one of these plants, I want one of these plants. What I do allow is if you are local, you could order off the website. If for some reason maybe you ordered one plant where it would charge you shipping. Okay. If you ordered like one plant that would charge you shipping, we would refund you the shipping if you were picking up. And then, so you'd place your order online, and then you would either email us. Well, preferably you would email us and tell us in the notes that you prefer to pick up the plant, and then we allow you, or the order, and we allow you to pick up on Tuesdays, Thursdays, or Sundays. Those are the days that we operate, essentially. We don't operate, like, operation-wise, like packing orders and stuff outside of those days. So, and we only allow pickup on Tuesdays and Thursdays after 6 p.m., but before, like, 10 p.m. Can't be too late, obviously. And on Sundays, we allow from 12 to 3. So if you can make it within those windows, that's fine, but we need 24-hour notice before you're going to pick up. So if you place an order, let's say today's Wednesday, you place an order, and you say, hey, I'd like to pick this up. Can I pick it up tomorrow? That's fine. But it's not one of those, you place the order and be like, okay, can I come pick up? I'm in the area, because it's just too short notice, and, I also have other things I do. I work full-time and stuff like that, so it's outside of the business. It's tricky to coordinate everything. So those are kind of how we do pickups for most people. Is, if you're local, you want to come, stop by, run them out to you, boom, there you go. But you pay online, or you can message me if you want to pay cash. That's completely fine. You just need to let me know, and then I'll kind of put in a order in our system and not charge you through the computer, but you'd pay in cash, that kind of thing. So, so good. What's your favorite easy red plant for high, medium light with no CO2? Ludwigia SP Red Mini. Very good, very easy red plant. The other alternative to that is Rotalas. Those get reddish. But Ludwigia SP Red Mini, or just Ludwigia SP Red, it's kind of interchangeable. Very easy to grow red plant. One of my next plant guide videos is going to be on Ludwigia and showing the differences between Repens, dark red, ovalis, and super red. So that way you could see the different types, see what makes them different from each other, because I like that. I don't know if you guys have watched the last two, I think it was, one on the Bacopa, and then one on, what was the last one that I just did? Why can't I remember? Dwarf Sedge and the Sagittarius. I like that I can show the comparison between the two different types that we have, or the three different types. That way people can understand the difference, because when you see narrow leaf sedge and dwarf sedge, you may say, well, those look exactly the same, but they're really different. So, Full Moon says, congrats on 20K. Hello, Fish Fam. What's up? How's it going? Alexandra says, is there any plant or moss that could be grown on a hang-on back intake sponge to hide it without compromising the flow? I wouldn't say attaching it to the sponge. What I would say is plant a plant that gets really bushy in front of it. So depending on the size of the tank, I would do like a water sprite. Lace would be really good because it gets really bushy really quickly. You could do water wisteria, another good plant. You could do Rotala, Ludwigia. Those get bushy and you just keep trimming them and they get bushier and bushier and bushier, and you replant the tops. But I would say you want a fast-growing plant so that way it really just covers that whole area. So those are the types of plants I would suggest for that. Wes says, well, I'm in Texas. Well, if you're in Texas, you probably have the perfect weather. We've been shipping plants there, I think almost without heat packs, almost all winter. I think there was like 1 or 2 weeks where we had to. But you're good in Texas until it gets seriously hot. We had, I think, a week in the summer where we couldn't ship to Nevada, Texas, or Arizona just because the temperature was over 100 degrees. And even with an ice pack, the ice pack just melts in that circumstance and doesn't help the plant. So that's the only time we wouldn't be able to ship to you. But right now, it would be perfect for you. I have a lot of algae on my pearlweed. Dose dry first, CO2, a 30-gallon breeder. Any suggestions? Well, I would start with manually removing the algae. So whether that's trimming the plant and removing, the whole plant mass that you trimmed off to get it out of the tank. Going in with tweezers, going in with any sort of like toothbrush or anything to get it off of the leaves, although pearlweed is tricky to do. So I would say your best bet, just trim it all the way down because pearlweed grows like a weed anyway. So trim it down, get rid of the tops, get rid of anything that has algae on it, toss that. Then next you want to try and figure out what type of algae it was and how to fix it. So if it was like blackbeard algae, you want to look at your CO2 levels. They may be off. Maybe you have too much or too little. And then, if it's like hair algae, you could try dosing like algicide, like Algifix, which I have, and that will help take care of that. So yeah, just those kind of things. Learning to fish keep. Hey, Wes, you going to Aquashella in Dallas? I'm in Texas, and, well, I'm going, and I'll be going. Oh, nice. I've been thinking about trying to go to Aquashella, but it's not on the cards this year. We will most likely be attending Reefapalooza New York again and Aquatic Experience New York again. If they do Aquatic Experience New York, I don't think they've announced that they're doing it yet, but either way, we'll be doing both of those shows here at the Meadowlands. So if you are in the area, definitely follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more details. I'll definitely update the YouTube channel once I book it. I'm worried about taxes this year, so I don't want to spend any money that I don't have to until I do my taxes and figure that all out, because running a business and having profit is not going to be fun. The red root floaters I ordered from you came in great as always. If you haven't ordered from H2O Plants, you should. Well, thank you, Lady 10. Really appreciate the comments, and I love that. Batfish says, please, if you can you write at the videos with rare plants the names of the plants? I don't know good English, and I want to find information. P.S. Good job. I love your channel, and I learned a lot. Well, thank you, Batfish. I think you're referring to... there's a couple of videos that I did like rare plants. Batfish, if you want, shoot me a link to the video that you would like me to add the names to, and I'll go through and I'll add them for you. That's not a problem. But there's a couple of videos that I did that have rare plants in them and whatnot, so I don't know which one you're talking about specifically. Or I could just send you a list of what it was. Either way. Wes says, I have 2 young kids, so it really depends on how my schedule shakes out. I would definitely recommend taking them to Aquashella. It looks like a lot of fun. I didn't attend, but it looks really cool. What's up, Scottish Aquatics? Little Mama Llama says, any restriction shipping to Hawaii? I know we can use an import permit for fish, but not sure about plants. So I've shipped to Hawaii. As far as I know, they got there, no problem. I would just look on the invasive species list for Hawaii and make sure you're not ordering any plants that may be on that list. And that would be it, because here's the thing. We don't have the capability of looking at every single state's restriction list and knowing what's there. So we just ship the order, and if customs, especially in Hawaii, I imagine that the Postal Service probably examines packages. If they, for whatever reason get the order and they destroy the plants because they are not allowed there, we don't cover that, because that's completely out of, that's not having to do with us. That's why we always recommend check your local laws having to do with certain plants and make sure that you're not ordering those. Typically, it's mostly invasive plants like Kambamba, Anacris. Floating plants like dwarf water lettuce, Savinia are hard to get into certain areas. But stuff like swords and crypts and rotalas and some Ludwigia, some are considered invasive weeds. Moss balls, banana plants, those are pretty common and easy to get there. So Do you ship to Canada? Unfortunately, I don't, Jennifer. You could look up lizziesfishies.com, LIZZYSFISHES. I don't know how she spells it. Every time I try and look it up, I'm like, am I spelling it right? Lizzie's Fishies. Yes, I think it's with an IES. Okay. Is it still good? Let's see. Yep, it's still good. So she's actually, well, she's probably 17 or 18 now, but she, I just linked it in the chat. She is in Canada. She ships. I do know that she uses some of the same distributors that I use for plants, so it's essentially the same quality. With that said, I don't know how she runs her business. I've never ordered from her, so I do advise you to seek a second recommendation on her and maybe ask some plant groups or whatnot. But that would that's a good one that I know of. Full Moon Aquatic says, enjoying your recent video series on specific plants. Thank you. Learned so much from you since my first planted a few years ago. Oh, I appreciate that, Full Moon. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I figured because the plant specific videos too was really nice because I'm uploading those onto the website for each plant that it covers. So, you know, for like the dwarf sedge video, that's on the page for dwarf sedge. It's on the page for narrowleaf and broadleaf, so that way people can get a better idea of the plant. I feel that's like the easiest way because like taking a picture of it's one thing, but actually like showing what it looks like is better. Looking to get some plants, brother. Just built a terrarium, 75 gallon. Nice. Water portion is going to be for a pistogramma breeding. Top half is a waterfall, moss, anubis, boost, and weeping moss growing emerge. Nice. It's going to be awesome. Congrats on 20,000. Thank you, Scottish. When's the next aqua show in the tri-state area? I don't know if there's any coming before Reefapalooza. That's the next one that I know of. That one, I believe, is in June. End of June. And the baby is back. I had to put I have like a dog gate here to block her from getting into the back room because I'm worried about her like going up to the tanks and pulling them down because because she is now like climbing on everything essentially. So let's see, New York is 22nd to the 23rd of June. Yeah. Hi, pretty. Yeah. She's so cute. I see you. Yeah. So yeah. Thoughts on no clogged air stones? I don't know. I've actually... Okay, you're really loud. She says she wants to be in the video. So, no clog air stones. I've actually never used them. Hi. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Hi. She's going like this. Mommy, I'll come to you after this. I'll come to you after this. No clog air stones. I've never used them before, but I'm sure they're pretty good. I actually wanted to start doing like video series having to do with products like that people want to know more about. I figured like, for instance, I have a snail trap that I used a while back to like just test out, see how it worked. It worked really well. I want to do a video on that. I also got a planaria trap, which worked really good too. Back when I had planaria in one of the tanks, I wanted to do a video on that. And like just other things, like just like pretty much anything you can think of. I want to be like, you know, here's a video on this before you buy it, kind of thing. Buy this guy's plants, great deals, and you won't be disappointed. I thank you for that, Infinite Express. I appreciate the feedback. She's definitely a daddy's girl, so sweet. Yeah, she's always so happy. I love her. She just makes my heart melt. What are some good above water plants that are safe to stick in and out of the water portion. I have peace lilies, pothos, but I need something tall, 2 to 3 feet tall, fish safe. Well, so it's a terrarium. Is the terrarium going to be sealed at all? That I need to know. And what's the projected humidity? Are you going to be at like 100% humidity within it? Are you going to be at like 50% humidity? Those are factors. Open top. Okay. And so then you only have the humidity that's going to be coming off the water. So, let's see. Oh, you know what? I have peace lilies and pothos, but I need something tall, like 2 to 3 feet tall, fish safe. Okay, here's one for you. Dracaena species. Also very similar to lucky bamboo. There's quite a bit of them. I actually have one in my kitchen that is 7 feet tall. They come in all different shapes and sizes, so, I mean, this one's just absurdly big. It's 7 feet tall. The leaf head is, I don't even know, probably like 3 feet from side to side. It's a huge, massive plant. But they are smaller species of it, much like lucky bamboo. That is a type of Dracaena. I also have another one that's like a pom-pom almost. It's maybe about 2 feet across, and the stem is about 3 feet tall. So I would look up Dracaena species. You could also probably go to Lowe's or Home Depot and find them pretty damn cheap, especially now. Plants are typically cheap now in the winter than they are in the summer. So if you go and get that, yeah, something dark green. Yeah, so either, I mean, if you don't want to do lucky bamboo, which we sell lucky bamboo, but if you want to do something that maybe is a little bit different, Dracaenas are definitely good. They can tolerate wet roots. They do like airy tops though, so don't you don't want to keep the tops moist. You want to let just the humidity be there, and that should probably work pretty good. I would say though, give it a trial with like one. I wouldn't go crazy buying a bunch of them, so I would buy one, see how it does, because the humidity may be a little tough for it, but I think it'll do well. You could also do a monstera. Monsteras do pretty good in water. You could do a philodendron vine plant. If the monstera though will get rather large, that may not be an ideal plant, but it could work. I love planting. I always put some of my plants I get in a dirt tub to grow later for extra plants for later. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Like I actually want to do a video on doing like a grow out tray and how to do that, because I think a lot of people could take clippings of plants, put them in like a grow out tray, and boom, they'd have a supply of plants for a while, or they could even sell those. So. Can you please talk about dirty tanks? How do you like them? Congrats on the huge milestone. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Thomas. As far as dirty tanks, I don't recommend them. The reason being is there's a lot better products on the market. Dirty tanks are good, but it's just you could do better. And there's a lot less issues with the substrates that are available for aquariums. While, yes, they are heavily priced compared to regular dirt, there's a reason for that. They're just better overall. They're better at absorbing nutrients. They're better at just cleanup. There's not a lot of mess that is involved with it. With that said, that's not to say that you can't still do a perfectly easy dirted tank, but it's just a matter of what you're looking to do. If you're the type of person that's never pleased with anything though, like me, like I can't leave plants alone typically. Like I'll move them around, especially when I get really into a tank. I'm just like, this plant has to be moved here, this plant has to be moved there. The more you do that on a dirted tank, the more it gets disrupted, and the more like kind of dust that gets thrown up into the air or into the water, and it creates clouds, and it's not a good look. Eventually it settles, but it's just a pain in the butt. I'm not sure of it. I'm playing with some Litorella uniflora. I think that's the new plant, right, that we just got. Did you get it from us? We have the... Pretty sure that's the new plant that we just got in as tissue cultures. So right before I went live, I was upstairs for about an hour. I moved I have a second router in the house, and I moved it from down in the basement that was like right under this room practically all the way upstairs to the second floor, because Hector moved his Xbox upstairs and now he wants to play upstairs and all that. And so I connected it up there to get a better connection for him. And when I moved it, the Wi-Fi kind of just like stopped working. So I was upstairs before with my laptop trying to fix it. And it gave me, like, I had to reset the whole damn thing. It was annoying. But Littorella, let me see. I just want to make sure, because it sounds like that's the same name. Littorella, pretty sure. Yeah, Littorella uniflora. Yeah, that's the plant that we just got. It's really cool. I actually put some in the 75 gallon. It's just amazing looking plant. It reminds me of succulents. So, let's see. Is there a rule of thumb on spacing out tiger lotus? I have two that are growing really well close together, like the bulbs are touching. I didn't know if I should move or just leave them alone. So I don't normally recommend moving plants around, but because the bulbs, if they're actually touching, I would definitely separate them a little bit. The reason being, if let's say one of the bulbs go bad and develops rot or fungus, that'll easily spread to the next one if it's in contact with it. So you'll stand a much better chance of it not spreading if they are just slightly separated. You don't have to move it by much. Just move it so it's not touching each other. I know that emergent growth can convert to submerge, but what about another way around? Can they reconvert to emerge? Yeah, I mean, well, the plants that I mentioned before for you Scottish are house plants, so they're not meant to be underwater. Their roots can be grown in water, but they can't be underwater. Now, if you wanted to take an aquarium plant and grow it above the water, you could definitely do that. It will just take time. It depends on how deep the water is and whatnot, and how good the humidity level is. But you could definitely take like one of the plants that we grow here or have here. You could plant that and allow it to grow emergent completely just fine. You could also wait until pond season, which pond season will come up in March. We'll be getting pond plants then, and you could use pond plants in the in there, and we'll have a ton of them. So I feel the same about sand. I have it in one tank and won't be doing that again. Well, sand I don't mind. It really depends. Like I have one tank with pool filter sand in it. Actually, the paludarium tank that I did. That tank is my favorite tank. It's still up and running. It's grown in quite well. It's a bit of a mess. I have to go in there and clean it up, but yeah. Yes, I got 12 grow from my local fish store. I live in Los Angeles, so I've lots of plants all around. Nice. Yeah, Littorella is a really cool plant. I love it. It's really interesting looking. I definitely recommend it for people. We also got some Glosso and dwarf baby tears as tissue cultures recently, and we got more crypt flamingos in, so I would definitely recommend if you haven't checked out the tissue cultures. Yeah, I guess the tank is a paludarium, not a terrarium. Yeah, I would think the terrarium is more of a paludarium because it's not sealed. Terrariums to me are sealed, and so or have some sort of lid at least. Paludariums are open top, or vivarium, I think maybe. Either or. People are still commenting on the other video. I'm like, no, go to the other one. Go to the live stream. How are they still getting? I don't know. I thought I took it down. I guess it's not down. But yeah. Would you like to just remind everybody that maybe just joined us recently? If you were here in the beginning, then you already heard this. But this weekend I'm going to be running a special because we're actually not going to be here President's Week. Well, I won't be here. The company will still be operating, but we're taking a vacation for Nova's birthday and Hector's birthday because they're both in February. And so I won't be here to help out, and I don't want to make it extra stressful for them. So we're not going to be running a President's Day sale like we would normally do. So I'm going to do it a week early, starting this weekend. So yeah, it'll start tomorrow probably after I get plants in and we see what we have and what I want to do. Man, we have never had the chance to meet in person, but I know for a fact the day will come. Yeah, well, one day one day maybe you'll be at an event that I'm attending. Like I said, we'll most likely be doing Reefapalooza. I have all the intention of booking that and the aquatic experience, assuming that they are available. And I know Reefapalooza is nearly booked up. I just don't know if there's going to be any spaces left by the time I'm ready. I also picked up 1 to grow Helenthum Vesuvius. Oh, yes, the Vesuvius sword. Very good plant. I know you're a plant guy, but what's your favorite fish to have with your planted aquariums? I really like the small, small fish species such as like ember tetras and celeste pearl danios. Those are my favorite, but the fish are kind of secondary to me. I like the plants more than anything. I've actually considered all the fish that I have downstairs. I'm actually considering just getting rid of all the fish, finding homes for them, because I feel like I neglect them, and I know I don't neglect them, but in a way I feel like I do, because I don't give them all the attention that I think I should. And so I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm more about the plants, I should just, you know. But then again, it's like, how do you neglect fish? You feed them, you make sure that the tank is good, and, you know, that's about it. Sale, yay, yeah, right, Madfish. Diva, yeah, I think it may be like something like 15% off. I think any order over $60, we may do a free bottle of fertilizer. Haven't decided yet. Got to look at inventory levels, got to look at what we have, and see what we do. But yeah, that'll probably start Thursday night or Friday early. And it'll only last until Monday, because Tuesday will be our last shipping day before I go away, and therefore I don't want to bog down Jake and Ashley with a ton of orders, because I chose to do a sale. Ever come down south? Not recently, and not anytime soon. But if there was something that popped up, and you know, if I got invited to an event or something, I'd definitely consider it. But right now, the 2 events for this year that I have planned are those 2 that are here local to us, just because it's easy for me to lug everything over there and rent. If I went to, I see the question, Full Moon Aquatics, if I'm going to make it to Aquashella, I don't know. I probably won't be at Dallas, just because that's coming up too soon. I haven't planned for that. I haven't, you know, booked anything. The other thing that I may be able to do would be the one in Chicago, but I think that may be the same weekend of Reefapalooza, if I'm recalling correctly. So in that case, I probably can't do that one either. Let's see, their website's wonky here. Let's see. Oh no, Chicago is actually in August. That's a possibility. But I don't know yet. Don't know yet. Won't know. I mean, like, here's the thing. With these ones that are farther away from me, the New York ones are great. I'm 15 minutes from the Meadowlands. I could drive there, right? The ones that are in Dallas and Chicago and all that, it really comes down to if I got invited as part of, like, some sort of promotion or speaking or showcasing. You know, like, I've had a couple clubs in the local area reach out to me and, you know, do a couple things local here. But if, you know, somewhere like Dallas, I would need some sort of way for them to compensate me to go there, because it wouldn't make any sense for me to go there in any other way. So what's up, Aqua Noob? Full Moon says, you can't be in 2 places at once, run a business and take care of your family? Like, yeah, who would have thought? You can't do both of those things at the same exact time. I think it's in August. I plan to go. Would love to meet you. Badfish Steve, I should just go just because you're going to be there. I wish I could, like, because Chicago was fun last year at Aquatic Experience. I wouldn't mind going again. It's just the funds to get there. It's just expensive, you know. And the fact that it kind of hinders the business at the same time, because if I go to one of these events that aren't local to us, flying out there probably the Friday, so I have to miss work here. Like, I have my actual job that, you know, supports me, because keep in mind, H2O plants, while it's a business, I don't take any money from it. It all just sits in the business. It's I work, you know, I do the YouTube videos and I do all that, and that all the funds just stay there. I don't take anything yet. I still haven't took anything. I kind of by this point, I could if I wanted to. I couldn't support myself off of it fully yet. Probably in another year or so, it would be able to be like one of those where I could say, okay, I quit my job, and then I'd be making a similar amount of money compared to my actual job. Right now, I just make a lot at my regular job, so it's hard for me to say, yeah, I'm going to take more than a 50% pay cut to go do plants. It just doesn't make any sense. I have a house, family, everything I need to support, so it's tricky. And as far as using my own funds to, book these, it just doesn't make any sense. And the fact that, like I said, I'll have to take a day off of work because I have to leave Friday, get there Friday night or Friday evening, then Saturday, Sunday. If I fly back on Sunday, that's great, but we do orders on Sunday, so then that means that Jake and Ashley are a man down. I typically try and help out, and it creates more backlog and more stress all around. So it's tricky to do these events. It would have to be one of those where they are like, hey, we'll fly you out kind of thing, and then in which case I would do it, but it'd have to make sense, and it doesn't make sense right now. Not yet, anyway. Would love to see a big planted aquarium from you. Majority of the big aquariums in the hobby have low-tech plants. Well, I did my 75. How much bigger would you want, Josh? I feel like the 75 is the super large tank without getting ridiculous. I mean, ideally, hey, if somebody had a 6 foot long, 150 gallon tank that they wanted me to escape for them, that would be fine by me. But yeah, I mean, the biggest that I could ideally have. I mean, if I removed all the aquariums from the basement, I could do a one massive long, 12 foot long tank if I really wanted to, custom built. I don't know how I'd get it in the basement because that's a whole nother process, but I have enough length there. I would have to, if anything, if I did a 12 foot long tank in the basement, I'd probably have to build it in the basement. And it would be one of those, it would come with the house when I was to sell it. All right, we got a couple minutes here. I got to wrap this up because the baby needs a bath, and tonight is daddy bath, I think. I got to give her a bath. Unless Margaret's already doing it, in which case then I don't have to give her a bath, but we'll see. I completely understand. Funds are tight here too. My mom bought my aquashell ticks in room. I will drive there, live in Houston. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's ideal. Wish my mom bought me tickets. No, but it's just, it's the busy schedule that I have. It's just hard to do events. Like the one, even like Reefapalooza, it's a Saturday and a Sunday, so it's very easy. I don't have to take off work that much. I do have to leave work early on Friday so we could go get the U-Haul and set up. Last year I decided not to leave work super early. I left work like one hour early. We got loaded up, got everything there with 30 minutes to set up our booth, and that was a nightmare. Not to mention I took every tank that we had, which was a complete mistake. Lesson learned. At Aquatic Experience, I left. Did I even go to work? I don't think I even went to work, or I did a half a day. So I left work early on Thursday, but I had to take work off Friday because Friday is the vending. It's one of the show days, so I had to be there Friday. So I had to take off Friday from work, Saturday, Sunday, and then we had to come back and set everything up. But we didn't ship that Sunday orders because we were, at the convention. So, those work out because they're local, they're relatively easy, and it doesn't require any extra time. But any event where I have to fly to is tricky. Will you ever consider selling shrimp? Thanks. Stanley, I've debated it, and for right now, in our current stage, no. But if next year, there's a possibility that I may get a warehouse or some sort of facility. I haven't decided yet. This year is all about building the business just from where we're at, not expanding any more than we are, but kind of fine-tuning everything, making sure that we're profitable enough to be able to justify, say, a 3,000 square foot warehouse, that we could afford the rent, the insurance, the utilities, all that. Because right now, I don't have any of that, being that we operate out of my basement. So, yeah. I have looked into the warehouses a year ago. I know the pricing around them. It's a matter of, do I want to get a warehouse that's just a warehouse? Do I want to get a warehouse that I could also be a store? Ideally, I'd love a store. I'd love it to be both a warehouse section where we ship out stuff. We have our inventory and all that. And we actually have like an aquascaping store that has display tanks and aquariums and just nicely, you know, stocked. But it is, I don't know. If we do get a warehouse, though, shrimp may be a possibility. But I will say that houseplants will come before shrimp or any sort of livestock because the houseplant market is very large. There's a lot of money in it. And the problem is I just don't have the room for the plants here. But if I have a 3,000 square foot warehouse, I could have the houseplants there. So, yeah. What is your favorite carpeting plant? Definitely four-leaf clover, although Monte Carlo has grown on me. I just started a new plants-only dirt tank. Is it easier to keep fishless, or does it make it easier to drop small cleanup crew? Oh, I missed a question before. Somebody asked me about corridors. Whoever asked me about corridors, pygmy corridors. Those blue blood. Sorry, I skipped your question because I answered it in my head, and then I skipped it. I didn't mention it. So yeah, pygmy corridors, the really tiny ones, are like super cute. But as far as just start a new plants only dirt tank, is it easier to keep fishless, or does it make it easier to drop in a small cleanup crew? Well, you should only do a small cleanup crew if you have stuff to clean up. The things is, like, you don't want to get auto-sinkless catfish if you don't have a ton of algae growing on the glass because they'll starve. You'll have to really feed them and stay on top of the feeding because there won't be anything for them to eat. Narite snails you can always do. Those are easy. They'll eat whatever's in the tank. If you do shrimp, same thing. You have to feed them, you know. And corridors, same thing. You have to feed them. So, but are you just keeping it a fishless tank in general? I have fishless tanks. All the tanks in this room don't have any fish in them, so it's completely fine. Greg Jones says, move to MA so we can split a warehouse. Yeah, right? It'd be fun to move to Massachusetts, but no, I'm firmly planted here and don't plan on leaving. How about you come to New Jersey? It is a lot of money. I thought I was going to Aquashella, but I have a veterinarian bill instead. That's life. There's always AE. Yeah, well, veterinarian bill. Good luck with that. Hope everything is all right. But yeah, it's a lot of money when you consider, and it's not even the event is a lot of money. It's between tickets and airfare. I mean, Chicago would be like much easier than Dallas, but even Dallas, you know, yeah. New Jersey smells. No, it doesn't. School of Science says Monte Carlo is my favorite carpeting plant. Very easy to grow. Yes, in most cases, very easy. Thanks. Pygmy cories are my favorite too. I have them in my 10-gallon nano. Yeah, they're the coolest because you could get like 10 of them and they look like just a little army of troops swimming around. They're so freaking cute. Meat Space says I have a 75 and a 55 that are stocked with fish, so I wanted to do a plants only one just for experiment. Thanks for the answer. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you don't. I mean, I'd actually prefer not to have any fish in the tanks. Honestly, it's more, to me, I think of it as an underwater garden versus an aquarium. Like, me, it's just a garden that I could keep indoors that grows in water. Like, that's why I like the planted tanks. It's not necessarily because they're aquariums. That's just like a secondary cool thing. I can put fish and shrimp in here. But it's not the main thing to me. But guys, that brings us to the end of the live stream. Thank you so much for checking it out. And thank you once again for 20,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys continue to watch and enjoy. We also reached 20,000, or not 20,000, 200,000 channel views, I think. Or was that just for this month? Let me see. I think, oh no, we reached over 1 million views. We're actually at 1.1 million views now for the channel. So it's super milestones that have been reached. Just this past 30 days or so, because I think it was in early January when we reached 1 million views on the channel. So I just want to thank you guys so much. Like I said, look out for either sign up for the newsletter, follow us on Facebook or Instagram to get this weekend's promotion that we're going to be running so you don't miss out, or just check out the website. I'll put it on the website too. And yeah, guys, I hope you have a very wonderful and safe oh, before I leave, for anybody that's wondering, we will not be having a live stream the week that I'm going away. So that is, unless I choose to do it in the country that we're going, or not the country, but, well, It is a country. Yeah. I mean, it's technically part of the United States, but it is its own country. So we're going to Puerto Rico. And what day is that? Let me see. Bringing up my calendar. So today is the 6th. We are leaving the President's weekend, or President's Day week. So the 20th, which would be our next live stream, I will not be live streaming unless I have fantastic internet in Puerto Rico. And that'll probably be for my phone and whatnot. So, yeah. But thank you guys. Appreciate it once again. Hope to see you soon. And be on the lookout for the next video. Alright guys. See you later.